and welcome to part 2 of the video demo of the Google Sheets travel planner. So in part 2 I'm going to be talking about the main activity sheet and the daily schedule sheet. So if you're interested in purchasing the template, you can find the link in the description down below. And if you're interested in watching the other parts of this video demo, you can find videos to part 1 and part 3 in the description down below. So part 1 covers the budget planner and the transaction sheet. And then part 3 covers the packing list and the to-do list. So for this demo, I'm going to plan a trip to Disney World. So let's say we are going on a Christmas trip. The first thing you need to do is you need to come to the Customize Here sheet. You need to find this section. It's at the very beginning. And you're going to select a start day and an end day for your trip. So if you double click on the cell, a calendar will appear. Let's have a Christmas trip. So I'm going to select December 14, and then right now it's showing an error because I don't have an end day. And then I want to come back home on January 2nd. So my trip is going to be 20 days long, and I'm going to be staying there for 19 nights. So there's not much science to this, that's just the number of days minus 1. So now let's move on to the main activities and daily schedule. These two sections work together, they work hand in hand. So let's start on the main activities sheet. Now, the first thing you'll see is this table to the left that's completely automated. So what it's doing is it's going to take the first day of my trip, the last day of my trip, and it's going to automatically add every single day. So as you remember, my trip starts on December 14 and it ends on January 2nd. If I change the end date and I move it to January 4, it will automatically fill it out to January 4. Now this template has a limit of 90 days, and if you want to add more, please contact me. If you add more than 90 days, you will get a bunch of red flags. So you have days 99 and it turned red because you went over the 90 days, and then this will be blank because it's not accepting more than 90 days. If it's ever blank, it means you added more than 90 days here. So let's bring it back to January 2nd. And then you have this drop down. Right now it's empty because you need to customize your main locations. So where you do that is you're gonna scroll all the way to the right, and you're gonna find this table right here that says customize your main locations here. Right now, since I'm demoing a trip to Disney World, my main locations are going to be each of the theme parks. But if maybe you are taking a trip to Europe, you can have your main locations be each of the cities you will be visiting. Or if you are maybe traveling to different countries, then your main locations can be the countries you're visiting. So this is completely up to you. And then as I show you how it works, you can start thinking about how you want to use the main location section. So I'm going to fill it out with the Disney World theme parks and the Universal Studios theme parks, and then I'm going to continue. So now that I filled my main locations, I'm going to write down my desired days. So I want to go 3 times to Magic Kingdom, 3 times to Epcot, 3 times to Hollywood Studios. So these are my desired days. Right now my actual days are 0, and then you're going to get the difference. So this is going to be calculated automatically, and I'm going to show you how it changes once I fill out the rest of the table. You get 1 row for each of your travel days, and you're going to start selecting your main location for each day. So the day of my arrival, I don't have time to do a lot of things, so I'm just going to go to the hotel pool. And then on the 15th, let's do Magic Kingdom. And as you can see, every time that I add a location, this amount is changing. So now I'm going to show you the rest of this section, and then I'm going to fill out the whole thing. So you start with your main location, and then you're going to write down your accommodation. So that's where you will be staying for each of these days. So I can just write down Dolphin Hotel, and I'm going to copy and paste it on every single day that I will be spending at the Dolphin Hotel. And then I'm going to move into the different hotel for a couple of days. So for transportation, I'm going to take a flight, and then I'm going to Uber to my hotel. So that's it for my transportation methods. And then you have room for 5 different activities per day. So for example, for Disney World, maybe you're gonna make reservations to eat somewhere. And then I want to have dinner at the Crystal Palace. And then I must fried Space Mountain. This is also completely flexible if you are maybe traveling to Europe, then you are going to be adding maybe different museums that you want to see or maybe some landmarks. So you have your 5 main activities for each day that you must see and you must do. So this table is providing you with a full overview of how your trip is going to look like in very general terms. I'm going to fill the whole thing out and then I'm going to continue. So now that everything's filled out, I didn't completely fill every single activity, but all of them have at least one activity and then most of them have 2. So we're gonna move on to the daily schedule. So as I mentioned, these 2 sheets work together. So everything that I entered here is going to show up here at the very top of each of these sections. Now, every single section represents 1 travel day. These are filled automatically. So as you can remember, the trip starts December 14 and then it's gonna be moving all the way over to the very last day of our trip. January 2nd, travel day 20, which is the same thing that you have here. January 2nd, travel day 20. Now, as I mentioned, this section is completely automated and you should never edit that. So what's happening is it's pulling all of the information that you entered in the main activity sheet. So if we look at the travel day 1, we're going to see that we'll be spending the day at the main location hotel pool, Dolphin Hotel, flight, and Uber. Then you have hotel pool, Dolphin Hotel, flight, and Uber, and then you have 2 activities. Dinner at Disney Springs and shopping at Disney Springs, which are these 2 activities right here. And then the same thing happens for every single day. So this section is completely automated and you should never edit that. If you want to change something, you can easily jump into the main activities tab into the corresponding row by clicking on the main location link for any day that you want. If you click there, we are on travel day 6, December 19. So we are going to jump to travel day 6, December 19. And if you want to change something, you can just do that here. Maybe we're taking a bus that day instead of using the car rental. And then you can just jump back into the travel day 6 by clicking on this link. And then you have a bus. You no longer have a car rental. So main location brings you back to the corresponding row in the main activities sheet. And then if you click on this link, it's going to jump into the daily schedule and the corresponding day. Now, as you can see, you have to scroll to reach a specific day, but you can avoid that by using this table right here. This is also created automatically and you should never edit that. So whenever you click on a link, it's going to automatically jump into the corresponding day. And if you want to go back to those quick links, you can just click here and it's going to bring you back to that table. So this could be fixed. The reason it's not fixed is because if you want to open this on your phone, having this fixed will pretty much take over at least half of your screen. So I didn't fix it. That's why it disappears. I usually fix stuff. If you want it fixed because you'll only be working on your computer, you can just select row C, go to view, freeze, and then up to column C. Then this table is fixed and will always be there. If you want it to not be fixed again, then you can just go to view, freeze, and select no columns. Now, another trick. Every single one of those 90 days is available here and it will be empty unless you have a 90-day trip. So if this is getting in your way and you don't want to look at it, you select the very first column that you want to hide and then you drag all the way to the very last column that you want to hide. You right click anywhere and then you're gonna find this hide columns option right here. So if you click that, it's gonna show you this warning. You're gonna click OK and then all of those columns are gonna be hidden. If you want to bring them back, you can just click on this arrow. So you have 2 arrows. You have this one that is pointing down and this one that is pointing left. So you click on the one that is pointing left and then you select OK and it's going to bring everything back. Now, if you scroll down, you're going to find a daily schedule for each of your days. So this is where you can get really specific on what you're doing every single day so you don't forget. So you can customize at which time you want your daily schedules to begin. You do that by selecting a start time in the customize here sheet. So let's do 6 a.m. And then as you can see, everything else is incrementing by 1 hour. This custom category drop down, this is completely optional and you can customize it to whatever you want. And you customize both the title and the elements in the customize here sheet. So if you go to the main activities and daily schedule, you're gonna find this table and you can change the title here. So let's do only custom. And then that changed here and it also changed on every single other table. And then whatever you add on that list is going to automatically show up in the drop down. So what you can do in this section, and the reason I left these 3 spaces right here is so you get the start time and then increments of 1 hour. So you never touch those. These you leave as they are. And then if, for example, this is 6 a.m. and if your plane leaves at 6:24, you can just add that time right below. And then maybe if you want to, you can select flight and then any other information about the flight. And then if you want this to look prettier, you can just select maybe your flight, you arrive at 8 a.m. So you can just combine those cells and then you can combine these cells and then maybe you can change the color. And then to quickly bring the formatting back, all you need to do if you no longer want to do this, you just have to select these 2 columns of any other empty row, wherever it is. So this is empty, only these 2 columns, not this one. So you just copy and then select the whole thing and paste. And it deleted it and it brought the formatting back. So that continues until you fill out the entire day. And then you're gonna find a to-do list right here. It's completely optional. And the progress bar will move whenever you check the done box. And then this custom drop down it's exactly the same as this custom drop down that I mentioned before. So you can use that as well. And then you have this table where you can write down important information. So that could be a reservation number, room number, hotel phone number, anything that you want, you can write down here. And then you have a room for notes. And that continues all the way to the very last day of your trip. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you don't have the template yet, you can find a link to purchase it on the description down below. And if you want to watch the other parts of the video demo, you can find links to those in the description down below as well. If you have any questions, please contact me and I'll be happy to help you. Thank you for watching.